Guys, Casey Santana with Chifa Entertainment. We got a special guest on today. We are off to episode 40. We really appreciate you guys subscribing. Make sure you guys comment below if you guys have any questions and stay connected. If you guys see something that you guys like, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. 40 Tons has been doing a lot of community work, but you guys have a special message that I support. We support in general in this community. We want to make sure we get it out. So we want to thank you again for everything that you guys are doing in your mission as a family, as a unit. So we're going to dive into that, share a little bit of that with the audience. But before we do that, we want to get a little bit of a background from who you are, kind of what got you to doing what you do now, and your backstory with cannabis and plant medicine in general. So we always start with morning routines. Big fitness enthusiast here. Like to know a little bit if there's any fitness routine that you have that's part of your morning routine, or maybe cannabis is primarily your thing. Tell us a little bit of what your lifestyle looks like.
Sure. Well, my name's Anthony. I'm the co-founder, chief operations officer of 40 Tons Brand, and we believe nobody should be in prison for cannabis. We're out here making millions, if not billions of dollars on the sale of this plant, while there's people still in prison locked up for the exact very same thing that these dispensaries do on a daily basis. And yeah, there's nuance to, each individual person's situation, but overall, they're breaking the same law when you go and you buy cannabis or sell cannabis at a dispensary that these people are locked up over. And we believe that that's not fair. Our business partner and co-founder, Corvain Cooper, was serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole over a nonviolent cannabis offense. And on Trump's last day of office, gave him a presidential clemency and freedom. And so we're a core team of three. It's L'Oreal, myself, and Corvain. We're all founders, and we've all known each other for 25 plus years. I've known Corvain for going on 30 years now. I met him in 1994 at Hollywood High during our first year of high school, and we built a friendship. And we sold weed together in the early 2000s, from a quarter to a key to the ROC to 40 tons. And when he was locked up, we started the brand to just get him out, bring attention to the fact that there was people still locked up. And so when he came home, it just really put us into the spotlight. And so we're just blessed and thankful. We're a cannabis consumer packaged good brand. We sell products across different states, and I'll get into some of our projects that we got going on this year. But then we also host a career conference called the Level Up Career Conference, and that's our way of giving back to the community, but actually having real sustainable and restorative change. It doesn't mean anything if we get somebody out of jail and then they go right back to jail. So how do we stop the recidivism? By employing them, getting them expungements, giving them education, putting them up on game on how to actually level themselves up, and not just get a job, but people that are already managers that want to bring themselves up to C-suites, right? So we help people from entry level all the way to the C-suite. And so that's what 40 Tons is. That's what we represent and who we are. Morning routine. That's actually a really great question. Literally 7 minutes before this podcast, I just got back from doing a 2-mile run. I'm on day 25 of running 1 mile or more a day with non-stopping. So today's my 25th day of running a mile or more, and I'm at 2 miles a day for the last 4 days.
Is this indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor neighborhood
Always
running.
outdoor dancing. Oh yeah,
Always,
outdoor dancing
always.
is a little different on the knees as far as like how it works for
Like a treadmill.
yeah, if you're on a treadmill, I always feel the difference because I'm a more, I go to the gym often and do weight training. So I'm barely getting into outdoor working out because I'm doing 75 hard. And so one of it is an outdoor workout. But yeah, I
Sure.
give it up to people who run. I think, outdoor is a different level and it's good for your lungs. It's a little extra there. Do you smoke
All
before
that.
you work out?
No, I don't smoke before I run, but I do consume after, and I'll do edibles and different things like that. I I smoke, but I don't smoke before I run type of thing, right?
Yeah, I was
The
just
one thing
curious.
that I'm doing right now is I'm building the habit. So right
Okay.
now, no matter, whether my knees hurt, my feet hurt, it's cold, it's
Mm.
11 o'clock at night, time for me to go to bed. I haven't ran for the day, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I get up and I go run at least a mile or more a day. And that's because I'm trying to build the habit and the discipline. And so I'm on day 25 of doing it every day. When I get to day 30, I'm going to add 2 to 3 days of working out with weight training while still running every single day. And the goal is in the next 3 to 6 months, developing, my core habits where no matter what, the discipline is there so that I can run this company, because this company is going to be worth $100 million soon. And I need to be in tip top physical, mental, spiritual condition in order to do that. And it requires you to be in great physical shape. So, I'm envisioning that for this company. I'm envisioning that for the impact that we're going to have, and I need to be at my supreme best.
I completely can resonate with that. Can be, a lot on somebody, and to have a mindset where you're disciplined enough, because the motivation can come in and out. It's the discipline that's
Hmm.
going to help you execute that task. Huge fan
Exactly.
of, the hip hop preacher, Ed Milet, Andy
Hmm.
Frisella, and they preach all of that. And when you study
David
these
Goggins.
successful, oh yeah, I mean, when you study them, that's the one thing that they preach. It's got to start with, the foundation is your fitness and your health at the end of the
Brandon
day. And it's,
Collinsworth.
yes.
Absolutely. Like, these are all people that are big in the fitness and health, and just, being at the top of their game level. I'm actually good friends with a guy named Brandon Collinsworth. He's one of the top fitness trainers in the world. He's the face of yoga for Nike. He's, trains multiple 8 and 9 figure clients, travels all over the world, studied with, from all the yogis of the world to Muay Thai kickbox. I mean, he's a top guy. Well, I met him, 15, 20 years ago, and he was $10 a session. Now you can't even get him for $500 a session. He doesn't even have the availability. Like, he chooses you now. But I got
Wow,
him when he
I
was
know
when
how
he was
that is.
nobody. And we
Yeah.
built a really good friendship, and he's always put me into the mindset of like how important fitness is. And so, um, about 14 years ago, I committed to my health and wellness, right? And where I was working out every day, I was taking the supplements, I was eating right, I was doing the whole nine. And in a 5 month period, I gained like 15 pounds of muscle, and I saw what it did for me. And then what happened was I got lazy, back into entrepreneurship. And I've always been a active guy. My kids play sports. I work out from time to time, but I never took it seriously again, except for that time that I remember doing it 14 years ago. And it sounds funny, but many people don't ever take their fitness like fully serious, right? And so
Yeah.
I saw what it did for me back then. And it helped me create so many things that I have today that are really large things, from businesses to just accomplishments. And so now that I'm older, you know what I mean, and I'm in my 40s,
Yeah.
I don't move as fast. You know what I mean? My bones aren't as strong. My muscles aren't as big. Everything isn't working the way it was in my late 20s, early 30s. And so I realized that if I want to be at the top of my game, I need to get into physical condition. That's first and foremost, is physically being in shape. And when you're in physical shape, it crosses over to the mental. And when
Yeah.
you build that discipline, it's the habits that you need to build, whether it's working out every day, running every day, whatever that is for you. It's the habits that you need to build every single day that are going to make you successful later on in life. I call it embrace the hurt, right? It sucks, man. The
Yes.
knees hurt, the feet hurt. I'm running, I'm tired. I want to stop. I don't
Absolutely.
stop. You know what I mean? Um, I committed to running 1 mile a day. But
Yeah.
because I ran 2 miles for the last 4 days in a row, I feel like I'm cheating myself if I don't run 2 miles now moving forward. And so it's like, oh, fuck. I'm
Right.
like, I hate it, but
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
kind of a mind
building.
fuck for sure.
It's building it, right? It's building the
Yeah.
discipline, and we need that in this industry, right? We need to be able to be healthy mind, healthy body, and cannabis is also a part of, of my routine. It helps with anxiety. It helps with stress. It helps with pain. It helps with sleep. It helps with a lot of things, right? It even helps with social activity, right? Just sharing a joint with somebody, right, is very communal. And so, not to be long-winded, but health and wellness and cannabis and all that kind of go together with me, and I'm very serious about it, and I'm taking it very serious at this current moment in my life.
I love that. Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. I did bodybuilding, and mixed martial arts was always my background growing up. So, it's
Nice.
ingrained in you. Once it's ingrained in you, you kind of crave those things. And like you said,
Yeah.
it becomes habitual.
Yeah, my kids
I
are
love
kicking
that.
my
Thanks
ass.
for sharing. Do you have older kids? I have little ones. I
I
have
do.
I'm like, oh, sorry. I have 3 and 5. They just turned, their birthdays were so close to the end of the year. So yeah, they just turned 3 and 5. So they're doing yoga with mom, but it's more like being on my
Love it.
back. Yeah, those are my
Yeah.
weights for right now at home.
Right,
How old are yours?
right. I have a 22-year-old. Well, he's 21, but he'll be 22 in like 2 weeks. And so he works out consistently. And then I have a 19-year-old who will be 20 in April, and he does yoga, he meditates, he works out, he juices, he does the whole nine. And so like they're basically lapping me. Um, and I can't hang with them no more. Like on the basketball court, like I'll still beat them in terms of skill, but they'll beat me because they got wind and stamina more than me. So all they got to do is hang for like 1 or 2 plays, and then they'll beat me after that. But like I have it where I can't win anymore, where dad could just beat them real easily. And that's because they've built this stamina, and I got to get back to that. So I'm all about it. I'm all about this
Yeah, I
health and
think the
wellness
kids
kick.
keep us young. And, honestly, I do. I always say that I am contributing to my investing in my fitness and my health and wellness for my kids. I want to be there for
Mhm,
them. I want to be able to run around with them at that age.
mhm.
Um, Cool. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I'm a huge advocate for the industry to really start sharing their journey and how, it intertwines, how cannabis is part of that. I too use
Mhm.
cannabis for anxiety. If I'm doing a lot of presentation before, obviously recreationally, but now it's like, now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing how much it helped me get rid of certain jitters and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I can definitely see the benefits now as a mom, I should say. To go back to a little bit of your story and the mission with 40 tons, I know you guys are doing a lot in the industry, but you guys are also very specific of how you guys work in what you guys are doing as far as writing prisoners letters and, making the reach out there. I know recently at a very big conference this year, you guys had a great turnout with a cell block um, activation where you had everybody had an opportunity to reach out to a prisoner and just send them a message from where we're at and let them know, there's a little bit of light out here, and you guys are out here doing the work. Can you kind of touch on that and share a little bit of what you guys do when it comes to how we can get involved in that and what you guys are doing with that?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I gotta give a big thank you to MJ Biz, the whole team over there. This year at MJ BizCon, they gave us a huge, huge installation, um, and they allowed us to come and set up, right? We wouldn't even be able to do it if they weren't so heavily involved with us to do it, right? Like they really, really showed us a lot of love. And so we have this prison cell booth that we bring out to places. And so we set the whole thing up, and the installation that MJ Biz gave us was so big that even the cost just to set up, is in the very expensive 5 figures. And so we had to sell sponsorship to that in order to even cover that cost, let alone what MJ Biz was giving us. And by the beauty of the industry and everybody kind of rallying behind our cause, we were able to get it fully sponsored with Custom Cones USA, Day Savers, Only Day Savers as the main title sponsor. And so it was really awesome that all these brands came together. Vert, Dustin and Alex over there, really great guys. In fact, they were the first ones that believed in it and sponsored us first. Willie McKenzie with the Eco Mastermind, which is a mastermind that I'm a part of. And I highly recommend that if you're an elite cannabis operator, joining the Eco Mastermind group with Willie McKenzie. Um, Naomi Granger from NACAP Pros was also a sponsor. And then our really good friends at 1937, Ambrose and Alex out of Illinois, also sponsored. And so basically all these brands came together to activate, to showcase what it is that we're selling, what it is that we're doing. But the main theme of the entire thing was not forgetting about the cannabis prisoners. There's thousands of prisoners still locked up over this plant. These are the people that, are the martyrs of the industry, right? They're the ones that have to go serve time over this plant while we're out here at a conference making money. And so we wanted to let them know that we didn't forget about them, that we are out here keeping their name alive. And we wanted to be able to let the patrons of MJ BizCon uh, connect on a social impact level. And what's an easy way to do that? Sending a letter. But instead of just sending a letter, which is easy to do and boring, just writing out on a sheet of paper, we actually created postcards. And what we did was we hand drew the cannabis prisoners, right? And so if you notice, this is Dose Now, and that's his picture, but that's his artwork, right? And so we did these postcards, and we sent postcards to them. So, there's 10 prisoners that we were advocating for. 3 of them were already released within this year, and 7 of them are still locked up. And so imagine you being a prisoner. Imagine KC Santana being in jail for cannabis, and then you receive hundreds of postcards. But not only are you receiving a postcard, you're receiving it and it's of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the artwork and the creativity, and like it makes them kind of like fake famous in there. You know what I mean? And so it's just letting
Yeah.
them know that like we ain't forgot about them, and we wanted to do that at scale. And we did the largest letter writing campaign in cannabis history in a single day at a single location. And so we're blessed. Everybody supported, and lots of people came by to fill out their postcards, and now we're just continuing doing that into 2024. So that was the kickoff. And in 2024,
Mhm.
we're looking for partners that we can continue this letter writing campaign with. And it's a very low hanging piece of fruit for dispensaries, businesses to do without it costing them much, right? It doesn't
Okay.
cost much to, it's 51 cents to send a postcard, right? It doesn't take
Mhm.
up a lot of real estate on counter space, right?
Right.
And so that's what that's about, that particular program. We have a bunch of programs, but that program is
Yes.
the letter writing campaign.
All right. Well, I think that's dope. I think, it's a good way to lift their spirits up because, like you said, we're out here making money. I know I've had some previous experience with, going down that route and having to get things expunged, not me personally, but part of the team.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money at the same time. And so, when, it's not my forte, legislative and things like that. So I'm going to kind of kind of pick your brain if you don't mind, just so that our audience can
Sure.
get the scale of what you guys do and what's behind this. When you're talking about people in prison, what are the parameters around what they're in for? Because I don't know the details of what you guys, or the prisoners that you guys are aware of and have relationships with. Can you kind of dive into that, or what it looks like for? I'm sure it's
Sure.
different for everybody, but
Yeah, I
just to
mean,
understand.
no problem. Every cannabis prisoner is different, right? We obviously advocate for nonviolent cannabis offenses, but even at the same time, too, just cannabis offenses in general, right? Lots and lots of people are in jail, let's say for, a gun in their trunk. But what got them pulled over was the weed, and what got them to search the car was the weed. And had weed not been illegal, that never would have happened, right? Or something like that.
Right.
So we don't just want to say only nonviolent cannabis prisoners, even though that's what we focus on. It's just cannabis offenses as a whole. And so everyone's different. Some people sold, thousands of pounds. Some people sold an ounce. Some people sold whatever it was. And so there's various people that are in prison over different things. And it also has to do with the demographic. Where did you get arrested at? If you get arrested in Los Angeles, you're more than likely not going to do as much time as if you got arrested in the South, right? Um, there's systemic racism issues. There's a lot of issues depending on what part of the country and you're in, depending on whether the state is liberal or conservative, right? And so all these things play a factor. It's people like Edwin Rubies, who has 40 years for cannabis. He's been down almost 26 years, or around 26 years, for a nonviolent cannabis offense, right? Mohammed Taher, 25 years for cannabis. He sold 100 pounds, right? Dispensaries move 100 pounds worth of weed in a day, right? All it was 100 pounds, right? Over the course of like, a 2, 3, 4 year period, right? So if you broke it down by the day, it was like, an ounce a day, or even less than that, a gram a day. And people are doing 25 years. Parker Coleman got 60. Pedro Moreno has life. Rafael Hernandez, life. Um, Christian Reichardt, 17 years. Who else? Dose Now, 5 years. Kevin Allen, life, right? All these people. And unfortunately, a lot of the people with life sentences have criminal histories. So the three strikes law is real. And unfortunately, the three strikes law is very draconian because it doesn't take into consideration only violent offenses. So everyone thinks that three strikes is like violence, but it's not. So, that 8 pounds that you got in trouble for, whenever it was, that's a felony, right? So you get that one felony. Then let's say 5 years later, you get pulled over and they find 5 ounces of weed on you. You get another felony. Your
Yeah.
third offense, your third weed offense, let's say you sold 50 pounds. That third offense is an automatic life sentence. And your first sentence was 8 pounds. Your second sentence was 5 ounces. Your third sentence is a life
Yeah.
sentence. It's bullshit. So this is the problem. The punishments don't fit the crimes. We
Yeah.
understand that if you sell weed without a license, there should be a penalty, you know what I mean? But that's usually like a fine or something like that when you sell something without a license, right? You sell real estate without a license, you don't go to jail for 60 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is why it's so important that there's brands like ours, organizations that are out there bringing awareness to the fact that it's people still locked up, and these laws need to be changed as well as these punishments need to be changed.
Yeah, no, the way you broke it down is the good way to understand as far as the three strikes, because to my experience, I knew someone that was rolled up for one count and then got rolled up something doing with street bike racing that became a felony that was added to those counts, and then next thing you know they were up against that third count for something else, and it was a small amount. So I'm glad you touched on that, and I appreciate that so much. Besides doing what you guys are doing now, I know you guys are very active in the community with events. You guys have either participated or exhibited. Do you have any events that are coming up that you guys would like to talk about? That you guys are travel all over the place, and I love seeing that. So tell us a little bit of what you guys have coming up in the next month and the next week.
Yeah. So by the time this comes out, we'll probably have already had our New York launch event, but we're doing that on January 25th. We're launching at Fly Private Social, which is Hawaii Mike's Chef for Hire brands supper club. We're coming out there with HPI Canna. Big shout out to those guys over there. They're making it so that we can even launch in New York. It's a beautiful thing that we're doing with them. And so we'll be in New York, right? It's really exciting. We fly out in a couple of days. We're going to be attending the New York Retail Association event with Jason Tantalo and his team. So that's great. We're doing a hiring event, which is for some brand ambassadors and account reps at Con Bud on the 21st, which is in New York. And so we're really excited about New York. New York is what's on the table right now over the next couple of weeks. But we're actually really excited about some other things that we got going on. We're launching in Oklahoma with Cosmic Brand Gummies with their Black Hole product. And it's a phenomenal product. We're dropping a sour tangy gummy with them in Oklahoma. And so that'll be great. And so we'll be going out there and hosting some events. March, we're going to be at Hall of Flowers. Big shout out to the team at Hall of Flowers for bringing us into that.
That's
We're going to
right.
be there. We're going to be there. And then we're also launching in Minnesota. And so we have a huge deal in Minnesota that we're doing that we're super, super excited about. And so hopefully we'll be launched there. And then for 420, we'll probably be in Minnesota. And if not there, we have a couple of other states that are also on the horizon, with Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. And so we're really excited about just so much in the pipeline going on right now. Can't forget about California. We got the Beard Bros event on January 26th. They're doing their private sesh. And so 40 Tones will be at that. And so we just got a lot going on, man. It's just so awesome. Just check out our Instagram page or our LinkedIn page to find out what's going on like just a weekly basis. But like, we're pumped. We're super pumped about 2024 and what we're building.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you have been very active since the moment I met you guys. And as the mission is growing, I see the collaborative work. And I think that's the best way to have the bigger reach. Definitely love all the events that you'll be hitting up. Definitely some hot things going on. Let's touch back on the different states you're touching in. Are you guys have always been California? And I understand that you guys also have more than the mission work that you're doing. You have some flower, you have actually product lines. Is that correct?
Yes. That is correct. California is our first place. We have a deal here in California. You could find us on Ease. Big shots out to the team over at Ease for hooking us up and putting us on their menu. So that's a beautiful thing. And then you can find us at a few different dispensaries throughout the state. We're working on bringing in more partners. So if you're a dispensary and you want to carry our product, we're down to work with you guys. We want to work with brands and dispensaries that get it and that really respect our mission and believe that no one should be in prison for cannabis. And so, yeah, so that's in California. And so we're super excited about that and been building, we were with Herbal, and we had a really great deal with Herbal. And unfortunately, last year they went out of business. And so that kind of really hurt us and we had to pivot. And that took a minute to bounce back from that. But there's no love lost. The team over at Herbal did the best that they could. And I'm just thankful for the people that were there that really believed in us. It's just due to the market climate and the state of California cannabis is just in shambles. One of the largest distribution companies went under, and that should tell you about cannabis as a whole and California market as a whole, that it's not easy. It's tough. It's a tough business to be in, and even a 8-9 figure company can catch a bullet. You know what I mean? So it's like it's tough. So we're just cranking away and crawling before we walk before we run, and
Yeah.
building those relationships.
I think that's important. Building relationships and making sure you stay in touch with being organic as a brand and your team understands the mission as you guys spread out. I know that you had mentioned, some pivoting. And I think, for our audience to learn a little bit about what it takes when you are in this market, whether you're in California or you're entering, being that you're tapping into the other markets, what would you say as far as advice and, as a business owner and a co-founder of this successful brand, that's, doing mission work and having product out there? How would you say you would strategize as far as either getting into it, or if you are already into it, what would you say, you could add to level up as far as into the community and being more of an asset than a liability?
Well, first off, I say if you can make it in this industry, you can make it anywhere, because this is an industry where you need to be a king of all trades, not just a jack, right? And so, you're going to wear lots of hats, and you're going to do it all at a cost that is much more than your average business. When you're in California, you're already dealing with W-2, you're already dealing with, the normal business of what it takes to survive in a state like California, just as regularly. But you add cannabis with taxation and over compliance and over regulation and extreme competition, and you're dealing with a plant that, goes bad, right? So it's tough. And so the advice that I would give is just always be learning so that you can pivot whenever you need to pivot. The act of the pivot is one of the most important strategies and skill sets that one can have in any game. You may practice, in basketball, you may practice going down the lane on the right side with a right-handed layup, right? And you may practice that 1,000 times, and you've game theoried all scenarios of all defenders. But if that's your only move, when you get a defender that's bigger and badder and stronger than you, you're going to always get shut down. So you got to learn how to pivot, right? And pivoting is really important. And being able to pivot and learn fast is really important. And so, in this industry, you're forced to pivot. And so, in order to have the skill set of a pivot, you have to have education. And it means that you need to constantly educate yourself on what's going on, from, your supply chain to marketing to HR to all the things that you need to run a business. You have to constantly be learning and be open to learning, even if it's tough, right? Because the more you know, the more you grow. And so that's my biggest advice to someone is being able to pivot, but also embracing it and, you know, practicing it over and over and over again so that you could become great at it. And so that's what happened with us, right? We, you know, the first people we started working with didn't work out. The second people we started working out, that we started working with, that didn't work out due to, you know, just the way pricing in the market was and what the product was versus what we were trying to sell it for. Then we get with, you know, a bigger company like Herbal, and then that didn't work out because of external factors that we had no control over, right? Then now
Right.
we're with a new group. And so it's like understanding how to do that at each step of the process, but then also understanding how to pivot like at your product level, right? And your offering level, right? And so that's important, not just pivoting like location or state or product type, but also like product quality and like all these different things, all the variables in a business, right? Do you sell lows? Do you sell mids? Do you sell indoor? Do you sell exotic? Right? Budweiser sells the most.
Yeah. I love that you transitioned into that, and that's a perfect segue and perfect tip for everybody to take back, and for myself as well as I grow into this mission of my own. The type of product that you guys have that's out here in Cali, let's touch on that. What do we have?
Yeah.
Are we talking about, indoor flowers, sun grown? Let's share with
Yeah.
us what goods you guys got out there, if you don't
So
mind.
right now in California, we have a AAA light depth, grown and humbled, big buds testing it in the high 20s, low 30% THC range. Um, we tried doing indoor and exotic, and we found out that that shelf, which is like the $50, $60 an eighth shelf, it's a tough shelf to compete in California. You're going against, you know, your 710 Labs, your Ball Family Farms, you know what I mean, your Backpack Boys, right? Your Alien Labs, you know, brands that are known for growing weed. 40
Hmm.
tons isn't known for growing weed, right? We're known for selling it,
Yeah.
right? And so we're known for trapping and we're known for advocacy and legacy, but we're not known for growing, right? And so trying to compete on that shelf when the California consumer is not spending $60 on an eighth is tough. So then we realized, okay, well, we don't want to sell trash neither, right? We just don't want to throw boof in a bag and call it a day. So we want to have something that's like right in the middle, right? And so we didn't want to sell,
Hmm.
you know, like what's the crappy beer that everyone drinks that's terrible?
Well, I
No,
don't drink beer.
I forgot what it's called, but I forget. It's the one that everyone drinks.
How
It's
about
just
King
it's
Cobra? Am I
yeah,
taking it
it's
way
like it's
back?
not King
That's
Cobra, right?
British.
But it's not craft beer either, right? Craft beer would be
Yeah,
like indoor, you know, indoor exotic, right? But it's
right,
like, you know,
right.
a good, it's like a Ballast Point, you know what I mean? Like a Ballast Point Sculpin or something, right? Like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Or like, you know, like a Negro Modelo, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
something that's
a
still
little bit
moving
for
units,
everybody.
but not, you know, like Bud Light, right? So now, I do like Bud Light Lime, but Bud Light sucks. A Bud Light Lime is good. But anyway, that's a personal point. But so that's what we're doing. AAA light depth, grown and humbled, you know, legacy farms, big buds, testing high in the THC range, right? And so just quality cannabis for a good price, right? We realize, and this is another piece of advice, you need to have a product that if you remove the brand and you put it in a bag with no emblems on it and it just says weed or whatever the product is, vape, right? Gummies, that it would sell for the quality of what it is at the price in which you have to sell it for in relationship to what the retail is willing to buy it for. When you can find a product like that, you're going to have sell through. So when you add the brand to it, it's a double win. So it's really about finding the right product fit for the locations and the retails that you're selling into. And that is where a lot of people make mistakes because what they do is they get the best quality that they can possibly get and they don't realize that the cost of goods is too much to really operate and that the customers aren't buying that. right? Customers aren't buying Lamborghinis, right? Customers are buying Toyota Corollas, you know what I mean? And Priuses, right? So do you want to be a Prius dealer or do you want to be a Lamborghini dealer? You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I'd rather be like, a top of the line Toyota Camry dealer, right?
Yeah.
But selling it at Toyota Corolla prices, right? So then that way, like, I could win. And
Right.
that's, what we've been focused on here in Cali. And we got some pre-rolls, and we got a couple of other things that we're working on. We're working on a tincture. We got some other stuff that we're doing. And we got gummies in other parts of the states.
Nice. Nice. I think the gummies are a good approach for the other states that are, the kind of curious demographic still, no
Yes.
heavy smokers still. So I think that's genius. Did have some homies come on from OKC. Blows my mind the different, market
Oh
there, but
yeah.
it's growing.
Who was over there from OKC that you brought on?
That was PG, Oklahoma. I think it's pristine
Okay.
and green. They have cultivation indoor, but they also have a dispensary out there, but they're new to packaging. So they're excited about that. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know that's where you guys were at, like at scale wise, as far as legislative. So Oklahoma, I think, is a great market and is still at like an infancy stage that I think is a great approach. So I'm
Yeah, it's
excited.
the Wild West out there, right?
I
They
swear.
they the barrier to entry was really low, which is great
Yeah.
for some
Yeah.
reasons, right? For other reasons,
Flooded
it's
it.
now ultra competitive, right? But you could get a license real easy out there. So it's
Mm,
the Wild West out there, man, and they're doing a lot out there. They've got their challenges. It's still a pretty shitty state when it comes to like incarceration. They've
yeah.
doubled down on locking people up out there. They also, denied rec, right? So when they just voted on rec, which I think was 810 or
Oh,
910,
yeah.
was what it was. Um, so now it's only medicinal, right? So they're kind of backwards in Oklahoma in many ways, but then they're forward in other ways in terms of like barrier to entry, right? So,
Yeah.
every state seems to have its own issues.
Right.
But I like Oklahoma. Oklahoma has a lot of great brands out there. Check out Bono 8. The homie Sean has a super dope brand out there. In fact, he'd probably come on your show. He'd be somebody to bring on. That's a super legacy cat, and doing some really big things from Cali to Oklahoma. And so yeah, Oklahoma's dope.
Yeah, I think it's growing, and I think they were learning a lot from, California had its own riffraffs that a lot of people are learning from. So that's a good thing.
Oh
And we're
yeah.
still
Well,
here. So that's a good thing. 2023, I think, did a lot of fleshing. But to that point, I'm excited to see, your guys' product. I got to check it out. When I stop into Dispo, I'll make sure that I ask for your stuff.
where do you
Huge
live?
fan.
What area are you in?
I'm in SoCal, Inland Empire area, so
Okay.
I'm always hitting up Catalyst. That's the place that's usually carrying something that I have that's closest. There's still a lot of trap shops around my area, like tons of
Yeah.
them, and so San Bernardino
Man,
County
hit
is
those
still.
spots up and say that you guys need to carry 40 tons, when you go into those dispensaries, ask for it. It helps us. It lets them know, even if you send an email to their general manager, that goes up the chain. Like, so if you want 40 tons carried in your store, like, please ask for it and ask whoever you're telling to document it. And that will eventually, at scale, that helps us.
Okay, we got that, and I hope you guys got that as well. No, for sure. I'm always out here preaching for, the NorCal farmers and our legacy brands and making sure that they understand about our small brands out here as well, and the ones that are NGOs that have a really strong message behind it. Cannabis, the Normal team and Cannabis Chamber of Commerce, we're really big about that. And I think San Bernardino needs a lot of work within itself. Our county is not, I want to say, the friendliest when it comes to cannabis. And I think, this year they approved 4 licenses back in July. As to where the applications are with that, I have no idea. So very slow to move on things. And I think, even though we're neighboring Riverside County, which is slowly opening up, we're not as near as LA or what's, San Diego's doing. So still a lot of work to do. And I'm excited to share the word. Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing all of that information. I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate the time that you've given us today and sharing the mission and everything that you guys are doing. Before I let you go, I do want to give the audience a place to find you and support the mission and the team there. So if you don't mind, go ahead and tell everybody where we can find you.
Yes, you can find us at 40tons.co. That's our website, not .com, but .co. You can email us at info at 40tons.co. That's 40tons.co. And then on all social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, it's 40 Tons Brand, 40tons brand. Google 40 Tons Brand. Everything will pop up. Please follow our YouTube channel. We have two. It's 40 Tons Brand and Tons Talk, TONS Talk. And so that's our podcast that we do in studio interviews with. And we put out the content just like you do here at Chief Entertainment. So we would love for you guys to be a part of us. If you guys want to be a brand ambassador, if you guys, want to work with us, you want to partner with us, collab with us, carry our products, please reach out to us. We would love to help. We support our retailers. And at the end of the day, we want to just build a ecosystem of like-minded individuals that believe no one should be in prison for a plant and help get this medicine to the patients that need it. So much love. Thank you for letting me let folks know how to find us.
Of course, of course. We here support your mission as well. We do want to thank our sponsor for today. We want to shout out Dustin and the team at Fat Nugs Magazine. Make sure you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
check them out. They are doing amazing work with highlighting the events and just highlighting the cannabis culture, whether that's grassroots or corporate.
Shout out
So shout out to
Dustin,
Fat
man.
Nugs. Yeah, they're doing great things and they're huge supporter of just women in the space and,
Yeah,
organic people like ourselves. So
yeah, they
before I
are.
let
They're
you
doing a
go,
piece. He's doing a piece on I'm in one of the pieces he's doing right now. So it's pretty dope. Yeah. Big shout out
ooh, yeah,
Dustin.
and they're doing like the art pieces in those pieces are nuts. I tell them all the time, you're gonna see them framed up eventually. When I have my retail, you'll see them all over the place. So I'm excited for them to grow as well. All
Most
right,
def.
before I let you go, Anthony, 7 grams is my rapid fire quick questions around cannabis culture. Are 7 grams rock wool or soil when it
Soil.
comes to growing?
Soil.
Ooh, good answer.
Soil.
Good answer. Have you grown yourself personally? Do you grow or have you grown
No.
like your home
I
grow?
tried
No,
growing, but
really?
I killed the plants. Because I tried growing them outdoors, like, on my own, and
Ooh,
I couldn't get it right, man. I tried and tried.
outdoors hard.
I need one of those, like, indoor grows with the whole thing that with the to really show me how to do it right, and I think I can do it, but when
I got a tent
time
for you. I got a tent for
yeah,
you.
I
I
really
I
do,
do.
like, I really wanna do it.
I
I
got 2
really,
tents.
really wanna start doing it.
Okay, we'll talk. Okay. All right, dispensary or plug?
Plug.
Definitely no G. Floral or gasoline terps?
Gas.
Oh, yes. Bong tokes or joints?
Joints.
All right. Papers or leaves?
Papers.
Okay. Live resin
No
or
tobacco products
rosin?
whatsoever. No tobacco products whatsoever
All
from
right.
me.
What about the hemp leaves? You like the hemp
Nope.
leaves?
Too
No.
close
Okay.
too
Still
close
old
to
school.
tobacco. I'll smoke
Gotcha.
it, but I don't choose it.
Preference.
But
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
will
got
turn down a
you.
blunt. I
Okay.
won't turn down a hemp blunt, but I will
I
turn
see.
down a tobacco blunt. I do not rock with tobacco.
I like that. I can appreciate that. To that note, I forgot to mention Willie McKenzie. You mentioned that earlier, and it makes total sense as to where your mindset is as far as your fitness foundation, because he equally, I just seen a post and we totally vibed on that. And I'm like, I got to get you on here because sometimes people don't understand that message as far as that trickling into,
Yeah,
the entrepreneur life. So shout out to you
I'm
guys.
in
You
his
guys.
eco I'm in his eco mastermind, and I'm in
Ooh.
his Men of Purpose program. So I'm in 2 programs with Willie.
Okay. Okay. I love
Yeah.
seeing that in our industry. You guys are doing good things and it shows.
Willie's a
So
good dude,
appreciate
man.
that.
He's just a good, solid American father, entrepreneur, trying to do right, and I resonate with that, and he's been helping me with my journey.
Yeah, I gotta check out the mastermind program. I'm gonna have him
Mhm.
come on and share some of that. All right,
Yeah,
last question or last
I'll
2.
connect you guys. What's that?
Perfect. Last 2, live resin or rosin?
Rosin.
Yeah, any preference on like the strains are pretty limited and when they make really good rosin, but do you have a brand or
710 makes the best things ever.
yeah, they do. Yeah, they do, but it's
But
kinda
there's
hard.
also some
It's
good,
not
like,
so
individual.
affordable for everybody, I would say it's pretty pricey. I'm like, "Holy shit."
It is, and to be real with you, I'm not really a rosin smoker that much in
Yeah, me
general, but
yeah.
like, I've been blessed that when I go to these events, like the high rise events, or I'll go to other events, like SoCal Canna Bar or whatever, like all the best shit will be there,
Mhm.
and like people will allow me to hit it. And it's like, I just love the cleanliness of the toke on
Flavors,
rosin.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
same
it just
here too.
it's such a good hit, and it's like you could taste it, it's so damn good. But
Yeah.
I don't like getting high like that. So I don't like getting blitzed. I like, I don't smoke a whole joint. I'll take 2, 3 hits, and then I'm good. I like to be smooth.
Yeah, yeah, my husband's pretty much the same.
Mhm,
I probably will take a couple rips, but yeah, equally, I will say sometimes I have dabbed a couple times where I'm like, "Ooh, that made me feel a little racy." I've
mhm.
always been an OG with flower, but past 2 years dabbing more, but definitely feel the difference in when you dab than
Yeah.
just consuming flower. All right, last question, Cheech and Chung or half-baked?
Ooh.
Too hard, right?
Well, I like, uh, Chappelle, right?
Okay, I was gonna say that's yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, Half Baked is Chappelle, like, I just like Chappelle, period, you know what I mean, as a comedian.
Yes. Right,
But
right.
I mean, you can't not. I gotta go with Cheech and Chong for just the old
Preference.
school and putting us on.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for Cheech and Chong, we may not even have a cannabis industry, right? Like,
Mhm.
they're part of, like, the culture, right? People like
Yeah.
them, people like Redman and Method Man and How High and The Chronic from Dr. Dre and Mary Jane, Mary Jane, right? Like, all those, celebrities and pop stars put cannabis on the map, you know what I mean? Snoop, Be Real from Cypress Hill, right? Like, these are people that are icons in the cannabis industry that put on for us. And so David or Chappelle is not really known for weed per se. I mean, Half Baked is
Right.
is that.
Yeah.
So if we were talking comedy, I would pick Chappelle all day over Cheech and Chong. But if we're talking about just cannabis culture, I got Cheech and Chong, and the team
That's a good
behind
way to
Cheech
break
and
it down.
my my buddy, put it like this, the same people that built the 40 tons brand, like, that
Yeah,
actually made my designs, are the
yeah.
same people that made Cheech and Chong.
Oh, nice.
So
Very
that
cool.
whole marketing team and that whole team, those are my
Yeah.
guys. And their whole team over at
Okay,
Cheech and
nice.
Chong, like, their executives over there, like Brandon and, uh, and all the other guys that are over there are just good guys that are building a really awesome brand.
Dope, dope. Well,
Aaron,
congratulations to you and your team. You guys are killing it. I mean, your logo always stands out to me. It's pretty, I recognize it from a mile away. I think you guys are doing great with your branding and your messaging. So I love the apparel and merch. I'm sure you guys could find that on your website. Is that correct?
Yeah, or DM us if you want some personal stuff that you ever see us in. We're constantly making new things, so yeah.
Yeah, dope. I appreciate it. Again, you guys make sure you guys support 40 Tons brand. You guys could find them on most of the social media platforms. Make sure you follow the YouTube channel. Make sure we put that all in description links. If you guys enjoy this conversation, have any questions, make sure you guys put that in the comments below. We truly appreciate everybody coming on today. And thank you, Anthony, for coming on and sharing your story again. We're here to support you guys.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've been following you as well, but I recently really started seeing you because of the interview you did with Ian Rasman. And
Yes.
that's the homie right there. And so I was like, man, we got to get on KC's show. And so I appreciate you even making it happen as fast as you did. And we could work something out with the Tons Talk when we were filming in LA, and
Yeah, I
have you
love
come on
those.
our show kind of thing. just work it out. You know what I mean? Like definitely support Chifa Entertainment, support, you know, everything that you're doing just with your brand as well, being a Native American brand and just really pushing.
I appreciate that. And likewise, we're here for everybody in the industry that's putting out the work and grinding and having a strong message like that. And again, make sure
Mhm.
you guys follow 40 Tons. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on today. We truly appreciate it.
Love, respect. Talk soon.